All right, thanks, guys. Coming off another winning day on Patreon, we went 4-1 in our premium selections yesterday. That's going to put us at 12-3-1 in our last 16 plays. We're also 10-1-1 in our college football package on the year. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. Link for that website is in the description section below. Happy Friday, everybody. The weekend's finally here, and we have ourselves a nice, juicy slate of Major League Baseball action, so let's go ahead and get into it. Beginning with the Cards taking on the Cubs, major playoff implications in this series. Now that's going to be a 2:20 Eastern first pitch at Wrigley Field in Chicago. The Cubs are minus 115, no total posted as of yet. We have Michael Wacha for the Cards, Alec Mills for the Cubs. Mills comes into this game with a 3.42 ERA and a 1.18 WHIP. So once again, Alec Mills, the projected probable for Chicago, he comes into this ball game with a 3.42 ERA, 1.18 WHIP. Meanwhile, Michael Wacha on the other side for St. Louis, just 6-7 on the year, 4.76 ERA, 1.53 WHIP. He's also walked 51 batters thus far in the year. Now, if you're a St. Louis backer in this spot here, you're looking to steal one as not incredible value backing Wacha here. But anyway, the Cubbies are 5-3 straight up in their last 8. They're 7-1 straight up in their last 8 at home, taking on the Cards. They rank 4th in offensive walks at home, 4th in runs allowed at home. Now, St. Louis on the other side, winners in just 37 out of 75 when traveling. They also rank 24th in hits allowed, 23rd in walks allowed on the road. I'm going to lean toward the home team in this one. Give me the Cubs minus 115, getting the job done at Wrigley. Next matchup, Mariners, Orioles, 7:05 Baltimore. This game currently off the board. We have Felix Hernandez for the Mariners, Richard Blyer for the O's. Blyer comes into this matchup with a 3-0 record. Meanwhile, Hernandez for the Mariners, just 1-6 on the year, 6.31 ERA, 1.48 WHIP. The Mariners have won just 4 out of their last dozen when traveling. They've also won just 32 out of 78 away from home. The Mariners rank 27th in hits on average per game, 28th in offensive strikeouts. I'm going to lean Baltimore, winning this one outright at home for some money line cash. Next game, Blue Jays, Yankees, 7:05 New York. This game is off the board as well. We have Jake Waguespack for the Blue Jays, Jay Happ for the Yankees. Happ's 12-8 with 130 strikeouts. Meanwhile, Waguespack on the other side for the Blue Jays, just 4-5 on the year, 4.70 ERA, 1.39 WHIP. He's also walked 26 batters in 67 innings pitched. The Yankees are tied with Houston for the most wins in Major League Baseball. They are 154 overall for the year. They're also a perfect 4-0 in their last 4 J-Happ starts. Now, total-wise, Toronto on the, not total-wise, when it comes to the sides, on the other side, Toronto ranks 29th in hits on average per game. That's second to last in Major League Baseball. They also rank dead last in walks allowed on average per game. I'm going to lean the Yankees minus 1.5, getting the job done for some run line cash in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Friday's Major League Baseball action. Happy Friday. The weekend is finally here. I know I'm looking forward to it. Gonna hit the old cigar bar tonight and get the job done with some IPAs. Maybe some fine cigars. I don't even need the cigar. I'm gonna have a couple tasty beverages. But anyway, happy Friday to you. The weekend is finally here. Now, before we go ahead and move on, I just want to take a quick time out and just remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, guys, listen to this. We went 4-1 in our premium selections yesterday. We're 12-3-1 in our last 16 plays on that site. That's across all different memberships. We're 10-1-1 on the year in our college football package. Now, guys, there's plenty of different packages on that site. They begin at just $1.99 per month. It's a monthly subscription. You don't have to pay per day, per week. It's a monthly subscription Great value there, great price points there. And if you're a $1,000 bettor, you're up $8,000, well over $8,000 worth of profit if you were betting these college football plays. So once again, we're well over 8 units in college football in that membership. There's also plenty of free content there as well. Now, you'd be foolish not to sign up for at least the $1.99 package, but you don't have to. All you got to do is just watch me here on YouTube, and if you want, there's plenty of free content on the Patreon site as well, including my current record. It's right there on the homepage. So check me out. Link for that site is in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and dive back into some more lines of personal leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Phillies taking on Cleveland. That's a 7:10 Eastern first pitch at Progressive Field. The Indians are minus 200, totals at 9. We saw a 20-cent fade of Cleveland, no movement on the total as of yet. The Indians open 220, down to 200, totals at 9. 73% are leaning Cleveland, 51% shaded toward the over. Right now the Phillies are plus 180 on the money line. We have Drew Smiley for the Phils, Shane Bieber for the Indians. Bieber's 14-7 with a 3.26 ERA, 1.03 WHIP. He's also struck out 245 batters this season. Now, Drew Smiley on the other side for the Phillies, more like Drew Frowney. No, that's terrible. But anyway, Drew Smiley, 4-6 on the year, 6.22 ERA. Cleveland is tied with Tampa Bay for that second wild card spot. So right now, Cleveland is in just a dogfight right now to get into the tournament. They are 90-63 overall for the year. Winners in 8 out of their last 10. So getting hot at the right time of the year. Cleveland also ranks second in runs allowed, 6th in striking batters out. Now the Phillies really fizzled out in the past month. They were kind of right in the driver's seat with regard to the National League. But the National League really letting that NL Central creep in, and pretty much the NL Central has a stronghold on that wild card race. Now the Phillies 3-4 in their last 7, winners in just 35 out of 73 when traveling. The Phillies also ranked 23rd in hits allowed on the road. Now total wise, the Phils are 80% to the under in their last 5. Cleveland 46-32 to the under at home. I'm going to lean Indians minus 1.5 and the under 9 runs in that game. Next matchup, Nationals. Marlins, 7-10 Miami. The Nationals are minus 200, totals at 9. We saw a nickel fade of Washington in the early wagering. The Nats open 205, down to 200, totals at 9 runs. 74% are leaning Washington, 81% shaded toward the over. Right now the Marlins are plus 180 on the money line. Washington minus $1.15 on the run line. We have Anibal Sanchez for the Nats, Robert Duggar for the Marlins. Duggar comes into this game with a 3.95 ERA. Meanwhile, Anibal Sanchez on the other side for Washington, a 1.29 WHIP and 57 walked batters. Now, Miami is 7th in hits allowed on average per game. That's pretty impressive considering Miami's been so bad. Worst record in the National League. Now, the Nats on the other side, winners in just 2 out of their last 6. They've also dropped 8 out of their last 11 matchups with a member of the National League. Now, total-wise, the Marlins on the other side, 48-30 to the over at home. I'm going to lean Miami plus 1.5 and the over 9 runs in that game. Next matchup, White Sox. Tigers, 7-10 Detroit. The White Sox are 135, total 9.5. We saw a 15-cent move towards Chicago, movement downward on the total. The White Sox open $1.20, up to 135. Total open 10, down to 9.5. 62% are leaning White Sox, 69% shaded toward the over. Right now, Detroit is plus 125 on the money line. The White Sox plus $1.10, laying the run and a half. We have Dylan Cease for the White Sox, Jordan Zimmerman for the Tigers. Zimmerman's just 1-11 on the year. 6.32 ERA, 1.44 WHIP. The Tigers are the worst team in Major League Baseball. The White Sox on the other side, winners in 2 out of their last 3. Cease starts. They're also 3-2 in their last 5 in that same category. So when Dylan Cease starts, Looks like the White Sox win, at least as of late. Now, Chicago is 7-2 in their last 9 head-to-head matchups with Detroit. They're also pretty good in run line cashes when traveling. They're 43-35 ATS away from home. Now, when it comes to the total, the White Sox are 6-3 to the over in their last 9. I'm going to lean Chicago minus 135 in the over 9.5 in that game. Next matchup, Red Sox, Rays, 7-10 Tampa Bay. The Rays are minus 185, total's 8.5. We saw a 5-cent move toward Tampa Bay in the early wagering. They open $1.80 up to 185, total's 8.5. 70% are leaning Rays, 73% shaded toward the over. Right now, Boston's plus 170 on the money line. Tampa Bay plus plus $1.10, laying the 1.5. We have Rick Porcello for the Red Sox, Charlie Morton for the Rays. Morton comes into this contest with a 15-6 record, 3.16 ERA, and a 1.10 WHIP. He's also struck out 223 batters on the season. Now, Rick Porcello on the other side, kind of a different story there. He comes into this matchup with a 5.77 ERA, 1.44 WHIP. The Rays winners in their last 3 Charlie Morton starts. They're also tied with Cleveland for that second wild card spot. The Rays rank 3rd in runs allowed at home, 4th in home strikeouts. Now, Boston on the other side, kind of an epic collapse starting roughly about 2 months ago. They're 35-39 ATS on the road, 20th in runs allowed, 27th in walks allowed. When it comes to the total, Boston is 43-31 to the over on the road. Tampa Bay 80% to the over in their last 5 at home. I'm going to lean Tampa Bay minus 185 and the over 8.5 in that game. Next matchup, Mets, Reds, 7-10 Cincinnati. The Mets are minus 150, total 7.5. Not a whole lot of movement with regard to the sides. Pretty good two-way action there. We did see movement downward on the total, however. So once again, New York open and remains minus 150. Total open 8 down to 7.5. 67% are leaning Mets, 68% shaded toward the under. Right now, Cincinnati is plus 135 on the money line. The Mets are plus 120, laying the 1.5. We have Jake DeGrom for the Mets, Luis Castillo for the Reds. Castillo's 15-6 on the year, 3.22 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. He's also struck out 211 batters. Now, Cincinnati has won 4 out of their last 5 when Castillo made the start. They're also 9-4 in their last 13 in that same category. The Reds rank 5th in hits allowed, 4th in striking batters out. Now, the Mets on the other side, winners in just 36 out of their last 78 away from home. They also rank 21st in runs allowed on the road, 26th in hits allowed in that same category. Now, total-wise, New York 46-32 to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean Reds plus 1.5 and the over 7.5 in that game. Next matchup, Giants, Braves, 720 Atlanta. The Braves are minus 200, total 9.5. We saw a 10-cent move toward Atlanta, no movement on the total. The Braves open $1.90 up to 200, total open 9.5 and remains 9.5. 72% are leaning Atlanta, 68% shaded toward the over. Right now, San Francisco is plus 180 on the money line. The Braves plus $1.05, laying the 1.5. We have Tyler Beede for the Giants, Mike Foltynewicz for the Braves. Folty's 7-5 on the year, 93 strikeouts in just 105 innings pitched. Tyler Beede on the other side for the Giants, 5-9 on the year, 5.02 ERA, 1.52 WHIP. The Braves are in first place in the NL East, 94-60 overall for the year. If they go on a little run, they could eclipse 100 wins. They are pretty good at SunTrust Park. They're 48-30 at home this year, and they are a perfect 11-0 in their last 11 Foltynewicz starts. They rank 6th in scoring, 3rd in offensive walks. Now, the Giants on the other side, losers in 6 out of their last 7 head-to-head matchups with the Braves. The Giants also rank 27th in scoring, 25th in road strikeouts. And when it comes to the total, the Giants are 6-2 to the over in their last 8 when traveling. I'm going to lean Braves minus 1.5 in the over 9.5 in that game. Next matchup, Royals, Twins, 8-10 Minnesota. This game currently off the board. We have Eric Skoglund for the Royals, Randy Dobnak for the Twins. Dobnak comes into this game with a 2.12 ERA. He also has 12 strikeouts in just 17 innings pitched. Eric Skoglund on the other side for Kansas City. He's only pitched 14 innings this season. He also tested positive for roids twice. Performance enhancers. But anyway, that's why his action has been so limited. Now, Minnesota is second in scoring, second in hits, fourth in walks allowed at home. Kansas City on the other side, fourth place in the AL Central, same division as the Twins. They are 42 games under 500 at just 56 and 98 overall for the year. They also rank 28th in scoring. I'm going to lean Minnesota minus 1.5, getting the job done for some run line cash. Next game, Angels, Astros, 8-10 Houston. The Astros are minus 360, totals at 9. 74% are leaning Houston, 51% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Angels are plus 315 on the money line. Houston minus $1.70 on the run line. We have Jaime Barria for the Angels, Zach Greinke for the Astros. Greinke's 16-5 with a 2.95 ERA. Barria on the other side for the Angels, 4-9 on the year, 5.95 ERA, 1.39 WHIP. Houston is tied for the most wins in Major League Baseball. They're also second in hits allowed, first in striking batters out. Now, the Angels are winless in their last 7 games where Barria made the start. They're also just 2-8 in their last 10 ball games. They rank 25th in runs allowed on average per game. Now, total-wise, the Angels are 7-5 to the over, taking on Houston. Meanwhile, the Astros 25-19 to the over at home when the line was 9 or higher. I'm going to lean Astros minus 1.5 and the over 9 runs in that game. Next matchup, Pirates, Brewers, 8-10 Milwaukee. The Brewers are minus 200, total at 9. We saw a 10-cent move toward Milwaukee in the early wagering. No movement on the total as of yet. The Brewers open $1.90 up to 200. Totals at 9. 74% are leaning Brewers, 82% shaded toward the under. Right now the Pirates are plus 180 on the money line. Milwaukee catching even money, laying the 1.5. We have Stephen Brault for the Pirates, Chase Anderson for the Brewers. Anderson 6-4 with 118 strikeouts. Brault on the other side, just 4-5 on the year, 4.98 ERA, 1.49 WHIP. Milwaukee is one game ahead of Chicago for that second wild card spot in the National League. Milwaukee is also red hot right now. Winners in 12 out of their last 14. They're 46-32 at Miller Park, and they rank second in offensive walks on average per game. Now the Pirates on the other side, losers in 8 out of their last 10. Stephen Brault starts. They've also won just 34 out of 47 away from home. They rank 28th in runs allowed on the road on average per game. Now total-wise, Pittsburgh 10-5 to the over in their last 15. They're also 45-33 to the over away from home this year. I'm going to lean Milwaukee minus 1.5 in the over 9 runs in that game. Next matchup, Rangers, Athletics, 10-07 Oakland. The A's are minus 160, total at 9. We saw a 10-cent fade of Oakland and movement upward on the total. The A's open $1.70, down the 160. Total open 8.5, up to 9. 72% are leaning Athletics, 76% shaded toward the over. Right now the Rangers are plus 150 on the money line. Oakland plus $1.20, laying the 1.5. We have Mike Minor for the Rangers, Mike Fiers for the A's. Fiers comes into this game with a 4.09 ERA. He's also walked 51 batters. Minor on the other side for the Rangers, 13-9 on the year, 3.33 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. He's also struck out 188 batters. Texas is very good cashing those run line plays away from home. They're 46-32 ATS on the road this year. They rank 12th in scoring on average per game. Now the Oakland A's on the other side, they are 26th in striking batters out. They're also 24th in home hits. When it comes to the total, Texas is 9-4 to the under in their last 13 when traveling. I'm going to lean Rangers plus 1.5 in the under 9 runs in that game. Next matchup, Rockies, Dodgers, 10-10 Los Angeles. The Dodgers are minus 320, total 8.5. We saw a 20-cent fade of Los Angeles, no movement on the total. LA open 340, down to 320. Total's 8.5. 75% are leaning Dodgers, and at the moment, Colorado's plus 295 on the money line. We have Peter Lambert for the Rockies, Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. Kershaw is 14-5 with a 3.05 ERA, 1.05 WHIP. He's also struck out 176 batters. Peter Lambert on the other side for Colorado, just 3-6 on the year, 6.98 ERA, 1.71 WHIP. The Dodgers have the best record in the National League. They are 98-55 overall for the year, 57-21 at home. Meanwhile, Colorado on the other side, they are in last place in the NL West, just 66-87 overall for the year, 29th in runs allowed, which is second to last in Major League Baseball. They are also dead last in hits allowed. Now, total-wise, Colorado's 9-7 to the over, taking on the Dodgers. Meanwhile, Los Angeles on the other side, 17-9 to the over when Kershaw makes the start. I'm going to lean Dodgers -1.5 and the over 8.5 in that game. Next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Diamondbacks, Padres, 10-10 San Diego. The Padres are -120, totals at 8. Saw a nickel fade of San Diego moving downward on the total. The Padres open $1.25 down to 120. Total open 8.5 down to 8 flat. 65% are leaning Diamondbacks, 59% shaded toward the under. Right now the D-backs are +110 on the money line. San Diego, +175, laying the 1.5. We have Merrill Kelly for the D-backs, Eric Lauer for the Padres. Lauer is just 8-9 on the year, 4.60 ERA, 1.41 WHIP. Merrill Kelly on the other side for Arizona has struck out 142 batters thus far on the season. Arizona winners in 5 out of their last 7 Merrill Kelly starts. They rank 9th in road hits, 7th in offensive strikeouts. They also won 2 out of their last 3 ball games. Now the Padres on the other side, losers in 7 out of their last 8. They've also covered just 32 out of their last 75 run line plays at home. They rank dead last in hits on average per game, and they are 28th in home scoring. Now, total-wise, the Padres are 68% to the over at home when the line was 8 to 8.5. Arizona on the other side, 26-14 to the over, taking on teams under 460. I'm going to lean D-backs, catching the plus money, plus $1.10, and the over 8 runs in that game. All right, let's slide into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/Brock Page. I like the Dodgers -1.5 over 8.5. Arizona +110 over 8 runs. Texas +1.5 under 9 runs. Milwaukee -1.5 over 9 runs. Astros -1.5 over 9 runs. Twins -1.5 on the run line. Braves -1.5 over 9.5. Marlins +1.5 over 9 runs. Cleveland -1.5 under 9 flat. Cincinnati +1.5 over 7.5. White Sox -135 over 9.5. Tampa Bay -185 over 8.5. Yankees -1.5 on the run line. Baltimore winning their game outright for some money line cash. And last but certainly not least, I have the Cubbies -$1.15 winning that one at home for some money line cash. All right, let's go ahead and slide into some shout outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/Brock Page. Shout out to Sal Contreras, G City 1, Tattoo Keys, Finny Smooth, Danny J, and last but certainly not least, shout out to Julian Garcia. All right, guys, that is going to do it for me. Once again, please don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/Brock Page, where we went 4-1 in our last 5 premium plays on that site. It's going to put us at 12-3-1 in our last 16 plays. We're also 10-1-1 in our college football membership. If you're a $1,000 better, you're up over 8 units on the year in that package, which means you are over $8,000 worth of profit if you're retailing those plays in that college football package. That's just $14.99 a month. All right, that's a great value for a lot of winners. And our packages on that site begin at just $1.99 per month. So very affordable, great value on that site. And there's also plenty of free content there as well, including my current record. So anyway, link for that site is in the description section below. That is patreon.com/Brock Page. But most importantly, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Guys, the weekend is here. Happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage.